So you're ready to start recording, but not exactly sure where to get started when it comes to equipment. What all are you going to need, how are you going to get started, and how do you plug everything all in together? This video will give you the answers, and we're going to reference the Ghostbusters movie throughout, because why not? Hey, this is Matt with Podcast Dictionary here to talk to you today about the basics of audio recording, the equipment you're going to need, and how to get it all plugged in and started together. You want to make sure you get the basics right, because if not, all sorts of craziness can happen.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
The basic components for recording that you're going to need is something to capture your audio signal and something to digitize it so you can send it to your computer to edit and everything. If you've seen my video previously on USB microphones, that's one piece that does both of those things together at the same time. Very convenient, but there's lots of room for improvement with USB microphones. The most popular improvement that people go with once they're ready to graduate from a USB microphone is an audio interface. Now, there are other solutions available. One really popular option you could look into are field recorders, depending on your needs. That's a device that will record everything into a digital format inside itself on like an SD card. I use my field recorder often for a lot of the projects that I'm working on. But if you're in a studio setting or you're going to be more set up with multiple people, an interface tends to meet the needs really, really well. So these are the basics you're going to want to think about when it comes to audio equipment. Just like the Ghostbusters, their primary tool that they use is their proton packs.
Oh! Heat 'em up!
The primary tool you're going to end up using is your microphone. Now, there are many different kinds of microphones. My recommendation to get started with is either a large diaphragm condenser or a dynamic microphone. Those are great tools to kind of get your feet wet when it comes to recording. There's other microphones with different applications for different reasons. But to get started with, if you've never done this before, a large diaphragm condenser or a dynamic is where you want to get started. Once you've captured your audio with your microphone, you need a place to trap it, which is where your audio interface is going to come into play. Your audio interface is what's capturing that signal and changing it into a digital format so that it can then be sent to a computer to be edited and everything down. This is a phenomenal ID44 from Audient. Great choice for an interface. If you're looking to get started and you need multiple inputs and outputs, man, this is a good choice. Once your audio is trapped by your audio interface, it is then sent to a containment unit of sorts. We're going beyond the analogy here, which is your software in the case of audio recording. That's your DAW, your DAW, where you can make all your edits and your cuts so you can finalize your project at that point and then have everything done. Well, the way recording happens these days, at some point your audio is going to be touching a computer, so make sure you're familiar with a good DAW. While you're working on this, you need to make sure you can hear what you're recording, which is why a good set of headphones is something you're really going to want to invest in. When you're first getting started, a set of headphones is a good place to invest in. Studio monitors are going to be maybe a better solution, but depending on how you're working or funds that might not be available, a set of headphones at a minimum is a great thing to invest in. And headphones are headphones. So those are your basic components, but how do you get them all connected together once you've bought them all? Let's start with your microphone. On the bottom of your microphone is an XLR connection. You're gonna need an XLR cable. The male end of your microphone goes into the female end of the cable. The female end of the cable plugs into your audio interface. Interface is what's connected to your actual computer. Most commonly, you'll see USB type connections on there. On the newer interfaces, you'll see a lot more USB-C connections because they're just about everywhere. You'll see a lot of older model interfaces with USB 2.0 connections on there. Big important part to make sure you're aware of is the connection on the interface needs to make sure it's the appropriate connection on your computer. Sometimes you can work with adapters, sometimes you can't. Just know what you're looking for, what limitations your computer might have, Mac versus PC, all that kind of stuff. Be mindful of that so you can make sure you get a good connection and you can actually start recording. After that, that's it. You've got your equipment, you've got your recording into your software. You can make your edits, finish your podcast, finish your recording, and get going with what you're really wanting to do. You've got the gear, now you can start creating with it. Like I always say, create with what you have, get good with it, and then the more you use it, the better you'll get. Thanks so much for listening today. If you have any questions on this video or any other video topics, any other things you want to be learning, leave a comment below. I'd love to keep helping and answering questions for you. This is Matt with Podcast Dictionary, signing off.